Welcome to the Class Business Podcast. I'm Kristine, Monaghan, your host, and today I'm joined by the amazing Bex Howe from How To Consultancy, who is an official partner of the Class Business Awards, sponsoring the Strategic Partnership Award. I'm really excited and looking forward to this conversation because Bex brings a huge amount of insight around leadership, partnerships, and sustainable growth, and all these things matter massively for class-based business owners. So, Bex, I'm going to hand straight over to you. Tell everyone who you are, what do you do, and where do you do it?
Hello to you all. I'm Bex. I'm the creator of How To Consultancy, which is a UK-based organisation. And we're very much rooted, in fact, completely rooted in purpose, inclusion, and that authentic human connection. Essentially, I create, design and deliver bespoke developmental programs, resources, frameworks that are all about the individual and the team. And each of the programs or the training that I deliver starts where the person is or where the team are. So it's not about pressure. It's not about perfection. It's about strength, humanity and opportunity to live the life and be the person you want to be.
And you do that in schools, or where is it you do it exactly? What teams are you working with?
So predominantly I work in schools. So sometimes I'm in classrooms, sometimes I'm in offices, sometimes I'm in meeting rooms, sometimes I'm with a whole group of governors. But I also do a lot of work with charities and other organisations. So I'm not exclusive to just charities or schools, but I'll work with organisations where I feel that I can make a difference to them.
So cool. So how did this start? What did you do in the previous life before then you came and created a How To Consultancy?
So I worked in schools. So I started life as a music teacher. Absolutely loved being a music teacher. Head of music in a middle school, and then became head of music in various secondary schools, and then became director of arts. And in the good old days where we had funding for all the different arts things, it was an amazing time to be director of arts and really make a difference to those children. So that was secondary based. And then I became assistant head teacher, vice principal, and eventually became head teacher and executive head teacher in a trust, working across 5 schools with over 8,000 pupils in it. So that's kind of where I started. Absolutely loved it. Loved working with the kids, loved working with the staff. But through no fault of the organisation where I was working, it just... My time was spent being more bureaucratic as opposed to actually roll your sleeves up and make a difference to the people that were either delivering these wonderful opportunities or the children themselves. So I wasn't making enough difference to enough people. And so I came out and set up How To, which is all about making more difference to more people. Particularly young people, but also those who work with them.
It's a common theme, isn't it? I mean, a lot of this audience watching today will be ex-teachers who have left the classroom, which I find really, really sad because obviously you've got that so much knowledge from what you're telling me what you did, and that's now lost. Obviously, in a different way, you're making an impact. And also the music angle, isn't it? A lot of the schools have now lost their funding. They don't get as much funding for arts and music. Is that right?
I think certainly in terms of curriculum design, we went through a period where we were discouraged to highlight the performing and visual arts. I think we're kind of coming out of that period now. So I think there is more opportunity. And I still, because I'm so passionate about the difference the arts can make to individuals, I still roll my sleeves up and go in and deliver workshops for music, drama, and sort of sometimes teaching pupils with additional needs through the use of drama in terms of those key texts and stuff, but it's still there. It's absolutely still there. And I sort of keep waving the flag to encourage schools to be brave, because it's about giving the kids what they need. And some kids yes, I would be foolish to say that they didn't need to read and write and be able to count. Of course they do, but actually their future probably lays in something far more practical, whether that be the arts or PE or design technology, whatever that might look like.
I agree with you. Yeah, I am one of those parents with a child who I am leading her towards performing arts, art, music, because she's not in the category of like the whole academic way. And I think it's so important, like the whole area of music arts, performing arts, because it does so many things and skills. And obviously lots of people watching this podcast will be looking to develop those relationships with schools to bring what they can bring in terms of their business. So what was the big moment that basically pushed you to say, right, do you know what? I'm not making the impact that I want to make, and I'm going to take that leap? Because that must have been a massive leap for you to just walk away from what you've done for years.
Yeah, it was. And I think there was one key moment where I thought, you need to do something different. And that was when I was doing my accreditation for my level 7 coaching. We used a diagram called the flow diagram. And in that, you have to kind of work out where you are in terms of challenge and skill. And the idea being, if you're in the flow, the level of challenge in your work, professional or personal life, matches your level of skill. And I realized the level of challenge in my life was nowhere near kind of my skill stroke passion. And therefore I'd really slipped into kind of boredom and apathy. And I just thought, you need to do something different, Bex. You're not living the life you dreamt of. And so that it was sort of a slow burn. And I think I always got to the point, I always said when I wasn't making that difference that I wanted to, then it was time for me to step out. And I kind of got to that where I didn't come home feeling that I'd done my job properly. I had done the job that I was employed to do, obviously, but that wasn't the job that was in my heart, in my tummy. That one that gave me the butterflies and the exciting feelings that when you kind of see children so proud of themselves, and that those crying moments, I used to call them, when I used to get all teary. That I just thought, and I had a chat with my husband, and we decided, okay, let's give it a go. Let's try it. And it was terrifying. And I had no idea what to do. I had no idea. I kind of, my husband bought me a huge, great, thick book, which detailed it. Well, I'll be honest, I read the first 2 pages and then haven't read any more. So, but there are lots of different people out there who were able to support me in those practical elements. So registering with Company House, accounts, all of that sort of thing, designing my website, those sort of fundamental things. And then I just went for it. And 4 years on, I'm still here, which I'm really pleased about, because I always said, if it don't work, I'll go back in type thing.
So I'm just really interested to know, so did you have an idea of what you were going to do when you started, or did it take you some time? Did you think, I'll get started with this, and then it took you some time to shape the idea, or was it always there, what you wanted to build?
I think because of my previous role, I was already working a lot with schools to do school development, and then did some work with the local authority to do school development, and loved it. Loved going in and having those conversations and becoming creative, thinking outside the box to try and find solutions to the challenges they were facing. So that was going to be that was always going to be where I was going to start. And I was really fortunate to have some great people who really trusted me to begin with them. I'll be honest, in the first year, for 2 terms, I took an interim headship for two days a week, because I needed to keep paying the bills. So I needed that assured income whilst I built the business. And then the second year I did consultant-based executive headship for 2 days a week. Again, because for a school who had just had an inadequate in Ofsted. So it was a great opportunity for me to work with the school, but also it gave me that consistent income. So
And
I was really...
Did you use those opportunities to test out the work that you were building, creating, or?
Not so much, because any of you that work with schools will know that every school is different, and every relationship and every piece of work that you're asked to support them with is different. So what I did is, I think I developed myself and my confidence, because when you step into it, I had huge imposter syndrome. It's just like, why on earth would I be able to do this? I know I did it in previous roles and I did it successfully, but it's different. You lose that safety net when you're out on your own and you're sort of saying, look, it's me. I'm my business. I'm really great, but sort of buy me type thing. And so you do lose your confidence. So I think those opportunities gave me a real chance to explore and develop myself in a new role, as well as, obviously, I always learn from people that I'm working with, particularly over a period of time. As much as I like to think I support and give them things, I also learn things from them. So yeah, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. I never go in thinking I'm the expert, and I always say I'm not the expert. I have experience and I have passion and I have knowledge, but please don't think I'm an expert, because my work is always developmental, not judgmental. I don't do Ofsted purposefully. I've never wanted to do Ofsted, because I want to develop and support rather than judge.
Yeah, I can see that. And obviously you've been building your business, for 4 years?
I'm now in my 4th year, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say your biggest challenge in the first year was?
I think it was me. I think it was my head
mindset.
I think it was, because there's no certainty in being self-employed. And you can have days where you just think, oh my goodness, really? Should I really can I do this? But I think I surrounded myself with some great people, not loads of people, but some really good people who were supportive and encouraging, but also really honest. So when I perhaps was feeling a bit sorry for myself, they'd give me a kick up the butt. But equally, they just helped me with my strategy and shaping my strategy, and just those keeping me grounded, I guess, and focusing on the small steps rather than creating my movement in the first 6 months of kind of being employed. So it was tough. I had to really work on myself and realise I couldn't be a victim. Do you know what I mean? The woe is me. I've never been partial to woe is me, but there were days where woe is me, oh, I can't do this, or so-and-so's got more network opportunities there. All of that, when it's just like, for goodness sake, Beck, well, change it then. If it's not how you want it to be, change it, but go back to that strategy and work out what it is you want to change, and then how you're going to change it in a sustainable way.
I know, I love that, because like you said, having a small group of people around you, cheering you on, giving you the real advice, also kicking you up the butt when you need it. Because sometimes if you listen to too many people, then it just gets like distracted, like you just can't focus. So I'm always saying to people, like, stop listening to everyone else, just maybe listen to one person first, and then obviously then you can move your business forward with those steps. But having those little networks around you are crucial, because business can be lonely, like you've already said, and the mind monkeys can come out to play, especially when you're in a period of growth, because obviously you've taken that massive leap, and it is a massive leap, because I work with lots of providers who have taken that leap to go forward, and they're like, what the heck have I done? But they want something more, and they want something more. They want to have a bigger impact. They know they're meant for something else.
Yeah. And I think it's about recognizing there is only you that can do this, but every single person can do it. You've just got to, everyone's got treasure, isn't it? It's just, I had to dig quite deeply for some of my treasure. But then I really built myself, and I'm a much calmer person I used to, even though kind of, I suppose, you probably think you wouldn't be because you're only, but actually I am, because it's all about my core purpose. It's all about what I believe in. And because I believe in what I'm doing, I believe that I can achieve that. I have a saying, and I didn't come up with it, so I must have heard it somewhere, but that you don't take critique and criticism from someone that you wouldn't go to for advice. And so those people I surrounded myself with were so trusted, but not sycophantic, because I couldn't be doing with people just patting me on the back saying you're brilliant if they then didn't give me those hard messages. So yeah, having that small group of critical friends was so important to me.
All right, and so obviously we're in year 4 now. And did we give up the other teaching work, or are we still doing a bit of both?
I'm not doing any sort of interim anymore. And the business kind of took a really different route, actually. I discovered I loved writing and delivering training, but I loved creating the training. And so as I was speaking with more and more people, I realized I've never wanted to be the person who went out and sold people what I did. I wanted to go and sell them what they could have. So it's about not regurgitating the training that I've been doing since I started. It's about, okay, talk to me, what do you need? And then creating something for them that they need. And so that keeps me excited. But I also, I was speaking to one of these trusted friends, and they started talking about the colour energies. And I was that's a bit pink and fluffy. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, I went and found out more, and then became an accredited trainer in the colour energies. And so I do loads of work now with big organisations around the colour energies, and using that as their golden thread for connection and development. So that's a different side. And then other courses. So I'm doing a lot of different work. I still work with my 37 schools that I started off with. In different ways, but it's very much around leadership development now, or aspects of developing internal provision. I'm really passionate about providing children with additional needs with what they need. So this year I've launched my curriculum, Roots, Leaves and Wings, which is all about that. So I've got my pilot schools we're rolling out, and that looks as if it's going to be really exciting. So yeah, lots and lots of different things. When people ask me what do I do, it's really hard to say what I do in a nutshell.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Well, yeah, but you make it's the impact, isn't it? And obviously you've worked with organisations across like the different sectors, like you've mentioned charities, you've mentioned schools. What's the patterns that you see that holds leaders back, like from scaling or making an impact? So like a class-based business owner, like what stops them? What do you have you seen those patterns? Like what holds them back getting into schools, making those relationships, developing those partnerships?
I think there are a couple of things that holds people back. So the first one is, as I said for earlier, is themselves. Is that self-awareness, and it's about investing time in understanding where you are as a person and what else you need to go and make the difference that's at the centre of your business, or to deliver that business. So I think it is people not ever having had that time to hold that mirror up and look at themselves and say, okay, who am I? How do I feel? What do I need? And then again, committing, because I absolutely get the whole thing about cash flow in businesses. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard to juggle. But again, I made the decision to be brave at the end of my first year and really invest in developing myself. So I think it's self-awareness. I think it's understanding the culture of who you're working with and what they're experiencing. Okay, so particularly for those worked in schools aren't having an easy financial ride, but there is always money for the right thing. So it's about linking in and showing them multiple opportunities and benefits to the children or the staff, as opposed to it ticks this box. Do you know what I mean? The more boxes you can tick in a really tangible, impactful way, the more likely schools are going to make the decision to invest in you.
And how would they do that? Because I work with lots of providers and they're like, I want to get into schools, and they're told, email the school, offer a free taster session, or like, I don't even know if they do paid. Usually it's a free taster session and it's email, and that's the strategy. What would you say the strategy should be if they want to get into schools and develop those relationships and have those partnerships? How would you advise a provider, a class business owner, to start that process?
So the first thing I'd do is decide, okay, what it is you want them to buy from you, and therefore who your ideal audience is, and then begin to look at the schools and organisations that are around, because there will be lots. There are also charities that work with young people and stuff that is worth connecting with as well. I haven't got the ultimate answer for this. Do you know what I mean? This is still an area I'm looking at, but I think it's about understanding where they look, where they go. So I think those face-to-face opportunities are best. Can I pop in and just have a coffee with you? Finding connections through it, through other people, going to community events. I do quite a lot of volunteering, which keeps me in touch with children. So I volunteered as a careers mentor last year, which kept me in touch with schools, but also kept me in rooms where educators and other schools were. So it's about looking at who the influencers are. Who do you need to be connecting with, and who are the decision makers? Because if, like me, you send the emails and very often because I now work with some of the schools that didn't originally engage, my emails weren't even going into their inbox. They went straight into their spam because they didn't know me. So it's about thinking about, okay, how can I get them to notice me without becoming a pest?
I think
so. If it's not
brilliant. All that advice you've given is brilliant, because that's something, I think if you're just blanketing, sending out 100 emails to schools, I just feel like there's no strategy there. It's like, let's just send it out and hope and pray that someone messages me back and says, yeah, coming for a conversation. Whereas if they're a bit more strategic, like you just said, I love the idea that you volunteer and the career way, and obviously bringing in that angle and getting yourself into those spaces and rooms. So like you just said, you've got those connections with those decision makers. I think that's just one valuable thing from this conversation that providers could take away and start thinking about how they can strategically develop relationships instead of like spray and pray, hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously we're so excited that you are a partner with us. So what sparked your interest, first of all, about being a sponsor with us this year?
So I was looking, part of my strategy was to become was to do a couple of sponsor things, become a couple of sponsors. And because yours was focused on people, children and schools, I kind of read about you and I reached out to one of your colleagues who supported me, the lovely Emma Hewitt, who I really trust. She's now in my group, my circle of friends type thing, in terms of people I trust for that honest feedback. So reached out about that, and it just felt right. Do you know what I mean? Your awards are all about people. They're not about trophies. They're about the opportunity to celebrate, but also learn from each other. And to be in rooms with a whole group of amazing people that can't help but motivate you and just give you that buzz and make you feel that, do you know what, I can do this. So delighted to be a sponsor with the Class Business Awards. But for me, the strategic development sits perfectly for me, because strategy is everything. It's the starting point of your adventure. And we have to I feel I very much have to keep revising my strategy, looking at strategy, creating a different strategy. So I've just gone back and looked at my visibility strategy because it really wasn't working. And so it's that starting point. And what I find that gets me exciting. That brings back that, do you know what? I can do this. But also really focuses my mind because I'm creative. And as I was talking about the color energies, I'm very sunshine yellow, which is all about creative, social, being with everyone. I can have loads and loads of ideas, but sometimes they don't happen. They don't become anything. So that strategy keeps me focused and stops me getting carried away in my own little world.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And for like lots of class business owners who are watching this, sometimes partnerships and developing those partnerships can feel like messy or unclear. Like, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone about building a strategic partnership that actually works? So I suppose it's like a true partnership.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great to chat to lots of people. But in terms of investing that time into building those partnerships, they've got to be the right ones. You've got to know why you're building that partnership. Now, again, for me, it's always about mutual beneficiality. What can you give to them, but also what can they give to you? Because we all grow together. And so it's been really clear when you're looking at developing that partnership that you understand where you want that to go, but also really accept that, like any worthwhile friendship, it's going to take time, and it's a little and often, because then from that comes that meaningful work. So I'm part of the Women Who UK group, and I've met some amazing ladies, but I met one lady at the last group awards I went to, and we're now working in partnership because we clicked and we've been emailing and supporting and chatting and stuff, and now we're going to work in partnership for an event she's running at the end of February. So it's about making sure you understand why you're investing in those partnerships.
So it's the long-term game, isn't it? Really, it's like the long-term forecast and developing that, like you said, the mutual partnership where it is beneficial to both people that's involved in it. So obviously, Class Business Awards, it's all about class businesses. Now, did you attend any classes like now as an adult, a child? Like, what's your experience in terms of going to classes yourself?
So my poor parents spent every waking moment taking me and my sister to various classes. So we were into music. So we had violin lessons and orchestra every week. I also was into athletics. So I was a 100 and 200 meter runner and kind of trained at junior Olympic level. So they took me
which
there.
Club, I have to ask, which athletics club was that? Where did you go?
It was the Forest of Dean Athletics Club. So I grew up in the Forest of Dean. Did that until I then fell over, twisted my ankle and couldn't do it anymore. So that was the end of that. I also did judo. So I went to judo every week, but I also was really into my church. My parents weren't, so I used to go to my youth group. So I went to a church youth club on a Friday, and then church every Sunday as well. So really, really busy. And then kind of continued to do clubs, and then just kind of stopped because I was allowed to go in pubs, and that became my new club. I suppose for me, it was the value of being part of different communities and the diversity of people you meet, and the opportunities that brings in terms of that personal development. I didn't realise any of that, obviously, when I was that age. It's only in later life that you begin to enjoy the experiences that you used to have, and so kind of want to get back. That's that opportunity to be, like I say, to be in different communities and to talk with different people and to listen to what different people have to say. So, yeah, I was heavily into clubs, and my son is now into lots of different clubs.
I think and the things that what you was just saying there, because I'm from an athletics background, and I was with an athletics club from the age of 11, probably way into like my 20s. And it is like a family, it is a community, and it's the impact that providers are having on people's lives that they don't realize they're having until obviously when we get older, we're like, oh wow, because I used to train like 5 times a week. I saw my club members more than I saw my family, so to speak. And that impact does, the impact that they gave up, particularly with athletics clubs, it's volunteers, etc. They gave up their time for us every week. It's not valued enough, which is why I wanted to create the Class Business Awards to show class providers, although you're running your business and you're showing up to deliver your classes, it's the long-term impact that you'll be having on these families and children and into their adult life that they don't realise they're making yet, because they're not there, are they? So when they get older.
No, it's those life skills. That's where you learn those life skills. And I often say to people that I'm working with, do you know what I mean? No one sits by, comes and chats to you in a pub on New Year's Eve and says, you're really lovely. What did you get in your year 6 SATs maths result? They come and chat to you because of your life skills and because of how you are able to talk to other people and listen to other people and do you know what I mean? All of that. And that, for me, that all came through the building of confidence by being part of those club-based communities.
Aye, for sure. And obviously part of the awards is that we want to recognise that and spotlight that. And you've been recognised in awards like the UK Startup Education and Training and the Woman at Who. And how did these moments influence your confidence and obviously the vision for your business?
I mean, I think it's fair to say both were real turning points in my own and my business's development, simply because I was so stunned to win them. Do you know what I mean? I was chuffed to bits to even get through to the final, but to actually have your name called out. The UK startup, my legs went all wobbly. I couldn't actually walk because I was that shocked. And then Woman Who UK, I cried for about the first 2 minutes. I couldn't get my breath. So to say I was stunned is an understatement. But in terms of what they did, they just gave me a huge pat on the back and that sort of validation that, you know what, Bex, you are doing this. You are making the difference. You're beginning to be the company you wanted to be. And I mean that sort of in a small way. So it did change everything. And I wasn't, I mean, it never even occurred to me to enter myself for an award. That just wasn't something I did. Do you know what I mean? The awards, so I entered several awards last year, and the ones that I kind of didn't win were still amazing opportunities. So just completing the awards sort of entry is a great point of reflection and a great point of, again, a celebration of how far I'd come in terms of when I had to actually think about it and streamline it and put it on paper. It was just like, oh my goodness, you have done that. And then you find yourself in rooms with other amazing people. So it's the whole thing. It was a new world to me last year, completely new world. But it has really changed and shaped kind of where I am now and where I'm going. So I'm still in some of those network groups, which I've sort of engaged in other opportunities. And it's my work family. Do you know what I mean? It really is my work family.
I completely agree with you. Like, when awards are just great for business, for a start off, like just putting yourself through the process, filling in the forms, like you just said, it's that whole reflection piece to get that recognition as well. Like, you know, you can use it in so many different ways. And then, like you said, winning 2 awards is absolutely incredible. And unlocks doors as well. Like you can get into more opportunities come your way, which sounds like exciting things are coming for you. So what's the next 12 to 18 months looking like? What are you most fired up about getting stuck into this year to have your impact?
So I think the first one is the rolling out of Roots, Leaves and Wings, sort of nationally. Well, it's already national, but sort of wider nationally and internationally, because I really believe that it can give children with additional needs that self-belief in a really inclusive, fun way, so they can then live the life they want to live.
So tell us a bit more about that. So what does it involve? What's the initiative?
So it's a whole curriculum with 3 pathways. And the reason it's called Roots, Leaves and Wings, because Roots is about those foundation pathways, those foundation skills, which traditionally children look at and develop when they're in reception, but not all children are able to develop all those skills in that area. So it's about looking to see, okay, did they develop all those skills? Are there any they haven't got? And then going back. It's that theory of you don't build a house until the foundations are strong. Leaves is very much about those specific needs. Very often for children who've got ASD or ADHD. So it's those specific social needs, maybe sensory, maybe engaging with others, all of those elements. And then Wings is those skills that children need to transition to the next stage of education. So it is a whole curriculum, but it's all about giving schools all the tools they need. So there's lesson plans, there's activities, so that they don't have to go and use up more time. They can use their time to spend with the children. So that I'm really excited about that. And then linked with that, I've kind of entered the world of public speaking. Talking about sort of children with additional needs and provision to them generally, but also other areas like the insights, the colour energies, about starting your own business, growing your own business. So I'm sort of moving into that way. And the reason I've done that is because I believe I've got something to say that can help. And so there's that. And then it's just about looking for more opportunities to make more difference. I think that's kind of what's next. I don't really know what's next in the 18 months because every year something new has come in, and I thought, you know what, that would really be helpful to people. So I've gone off on that one. So, but what I do know is it will absolutely be based on need, whatever I do, as opposed to kind of, I think that's what would be good type thing. So it's exciting, and I love it.
I can't wait. And the program's is gonna be rolling out across the schools that you're working with right now.
Yeah, and then I'm the colleague I was talking about that I'd met, and we were now working with. I'm talking at her alternative provision conference in Oxford. So that's open to alternative provision providers or people thinking about it all over the region. So so I've got a few bits and pieces.
Just a few bits and pieces. It sounds amazing.
It's exciting.
Yeah, to see something you've created as a curriculum being rolled out across the schools and having an opportunity to go and talk to key decision makers about how they can take it on board and roll across their schools is absolutely amazing. I can imagine the impact it's going to have will be massive.
I'm excited about it, and I'm really proud about it. And I think that's one of the things when you create something you're proud about, or have a moment that you're really proud about that impact. It's wonderful, and that kind of takes me back to where we started in terms of why did I decide to do it. I wasn't having enough of those moments, and it's not about self efficacy, if you like. It's about knowing you're really living your best life because of what you're giving other people.
I love now you nailed it on the head for me. It's all about impact for me, and like you said, you've got to be aligned with what you want to build, and part of your mission, your vision, your values, and you can totally see that. So Bex, thank you so much today for this great conversation. I've loved this one. And thank you again for being an official partner sponsor with the Class Business Awards and supporting the Strategic Partnership Award. And if you've loved today's conversation, everyone, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the future interviews that we're having with business owners, founders and partners who are doing things a bit differently. So give this video a like, a love, a comment. And if it resonated with you, please share it with another business owner who you feel would need to benefit from hearing this. So thanks for watching today, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Class Business podcast. And thank you, Bex, for your time today.
My pleasure.